Tune into the Dan Patrick Show, weekdays from 9 to noon on the 101 Network, only on DirecTV.
He's the former All-Pro with the New England Patriots. He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America. Hi, Rodney.
Good morning. I don't even want you to ask me, but I know you're going to ask me.
I'm not going to ask you about Brett Favre.
Thank you.
Okay, as a defensive back, the throw that he was trying to make in regulation, how risky is that throw?
Oh, it's very risky because you got to understand, Brett, he has the ultimate confidence in his arm. But unfortunately, and he's played tremendous this year, but when you're 40 years old and you've taken a beating like he took in that game, your arm is tired, and there's no way he was going to complete that ball. I mean, he threw across his body. Just throw the ball away, live to see another down, but you cannot hand them the ball in that situation.
Explain to me how the Vikings dominate. I know they had turnovers, but the Saints didn't necessarily play a great game on offense, but still played a good enough game on offense to go to the Super Bowl. How did that happen yesterday, in your opinion?
I don't know, Dan. I'm looking at the game, and you know, each team was given opportunities time and time again, and just not taking advantage of the opportunities, not scoring in the red area. You know, for me, I just felt like, to be honest with you, everything that city had gone through, I really felt like it was just meant for the Saints to win. I didn't think Drew Brees and that team was going to be denied. I figured they were going to go out there and play one of their best games. They didn't play one of their best games, but they managed to win.
Talking to Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America, joining us on the Dan Patrick Show. What is Adrian Peterson's reputation?
Oh, that he's a hard-working guy, that he runs hard. He will put the ball on the ground, but definitely a tremendous player. A lot of guys have a lot of respect for him.
But how does he have how do you put the ball on the ground like he has and be known as a fumbler? Tiki Barber known as a fumbler, but how do you counteract that reputation as a fumbler?
Well, that's something that you're going to have to work on. I mean, you look at every person's game. I mean, whether like Shaq, he was dominating, he couldn't hit free throws. Every player has some form of kryptonite, and in this case, as a running back, that's the last thing you want to have is fumbleitis. You just have to hold on to the ball, and I know I played with Eric Bieniemy, the Vikings running back coach, and I know that absolutely drove him crazy because he's a guy. When I played with him, he never fumbled the ball, and that was one of the things that they always worked on, holding the ball. You cannot give up the ball when you're running back because guess what? You find yourself on the sideline just like he was yesterday.
You looked at the Jets and the Colts game, and it was 17-6. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, all my buddies there on the bandwagon, I put money all over the table, and they're cheering. They're trying to collect from me, and I'm saying, hey, listen, the Jets are going to fold. I mean, this is Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to make their run. Especially after that, Jay Feely, he missed that field goal. I knew it was over. I said, Peyton, he's gonna get hot. They're gonna make their run, and they're gonna come back, and they're gonna finish these guys off. And
Rodney, you faced Peyton when he was good, when he was bad, when he was great. But when he gets into that rhythm, and I really thought that he had gotten into a rhythm against the Jets defense. As a defensive back, when you see Peyton, and you just know that he knows, what is that feeling like?
You know what, Dan, I'll be honest with you. I think I've never lost to Peyton. Like, I don't think I've lost to Peyton when I played. So I really don't know that side of it. Now, I'm not sure, but I don't think I've lost. I mean, if I was hurt, then maybe we lost.
But do you think that he got into rhythms? You may have beaten him, but as a defense, did you ever feel like, God, he knows exactly what we're doing?
Yeah, and the one thing he wants you to do, he wants you to blitz, and that's why everybody got so excited when the Jets sacked him a couple times early in the game. But and I said it last week on another interview, I think probably a bigger show than yours. But so I said once he feels that rhythm after the first quarter, he sees where those blitzes are coming from. He's going to tear that blitz apart. You can't blitz, Peyton Manning. You're best to drop 7 guys, maybe 8 guys in coverage, and if you blitz them, you have to blitz them up the middle. These guys are coming from the outside, and Peyton to pick you apart because he could just step up in the pocket and see exactly where the blitz is coming from.
Yeah, I should have called Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy instead of you. He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America. Super Bowl, I know we're a long ways away, but you look at these two teams going into the Super Bowl. Can you say these are the two best teams from start to finish this season?
You know what, Dan? I can definitely say that about the Colts. I guess Tony and myself, we were correct when we said rest these guys. I know everyone. I called Brewski, too, and I busted his chops. I told him, I said, why would you pick the Jets? You know better than that. And
but even if you felt that the Jets were going to win, as a former Patriot, could you pick the Jets?
I picked the best team, and I felt like the Colts was the best team in the AFC. That's what I picked. I picked them, and I picked Philly. Obviously, I was wrong with Philly, but I did pick the Colts.
I also wanted to ask you about the hits on Favre. I know you're a guy who's been fined for the way you played. These hits on Favre, anything that stood out that you go, solid, good hit, or should have been flagged, or maybe somebody's going to get fined?
Well, I really thought that low hit, the guy when he came around.
McCray.
Yeah, I thought that low hit was pretty bad because, even if you're getting pushed, you got to hold up. You got to try to hold up. I mean, this is a guy's career that you're talking about, and his life, and his life after football. And I just thought that was kind of bad right there. I definitely thought that should have been flagged. And I think they flagged the one when Brett threw the ball and he turned around and the guy knocked his head off.
Yeah.
But, after a while, Dan, you start looking at yourself, man. I had to do the same thing. I started looking and saying, man, are these hits worth it? I mean, I'm 40 years old or I'm 36 years old. It's time for me to look into the future and not risk injury. Now, Brett went out there. He's played tremendous this year. I felt like that he was going to have a pretty good year, but I knew the Minnesota Vikings weren't going to win the Super Bowl. I know they're not going to win the Super Bowl next year. So if he comes back, he's coming back for fame and accolades and attention and money. He's not coming. I know he doesn't need the money, but he's not coming back to win another Super Bowl because I feel like they're not going to win another
Now,
Super Bowl.
why would you say you don't think after that season? Is it because of the way Favre plays?
Well, no, he played tremendous.
Yeah.
But now at 40 years old, after taking that pounding, do you know how long it takes for a body to heal at 40 years old? And the guy, he played tremendous, no question. But to go out there and replicate that, for 18, 19 weeks, including training camp and all these mini camps and passing camps, that's very, very tough to do. And they had good fortune. They didn't have one of their top guys like Sidney Rice or Vasante Shenko get hurt. Now, what if Adrian Peterson goes down? What if Sidney Rice pulls a hamstring? He's out for 6 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, you're working with backups. Now, they were fortunate with good health. I don't know if that's going to happen here in the future.